Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we step into one of the most controversial, terrifying, and endlessly debated paranormal cases in British history, a story that blurred the line between belief and skepticism, fear and fraud, science and the supernatural. This is the true story of the Enfield Poltergeist, the haunting that terrified Britain and left the world divided. Our story begins in August 1977, in a quiet council house located at 284 Green Street, Enfield, North London, where a single mother named Peggy Hodgson lived with her 4 children, Margaret, Janet, Johnny, and Billy. The Hodgson family was not wealthy, not famous, and not looking for attention. They were an ordinary working-class family struggling to get by. One night, Peggy was awakened by her children claiming that their beds were shaking violently, sliding across the room without explanation. At first, she assumed it was imagination or mischief, but when she entered the room, she reportedly witnessed heavy furniture moving on its own, as if pushed by an invisible force. Alarmed and unable to control the situation, she contacted the police. When an officer arrived, she claimed to have seen a chair slide across the floor by itself, an event so unsettling that it was officially documented, lending the case early credibility. Over the following days, the disturbances escalated dramatically. Loud knocking sounds echoed through the walls, furniture overturned, drawers opened and slammed shut, and objects were reportedly thrown across rooms. Most disturbing of all, the activity appeared centered around 11-year-old Janet Hodgson, who began experiencing violent episodes where she claimed she was being controlled by an unseen force. Witnesses stated that she levitated from her bed, was thrown across the room, and spoke in a deep, gravelly male voice that did not resemble her own. As fear spread, neighbors gathered outside the house, some witnessing strange events firsthand, while others dismissed the family as attention-seeking. Soon, the case attracted the attention of the media, paranormal researchers, and skeptics alike. 2 key figures entered the story: Maurice Grosse, a member of the Society for Psychical Research, and Guy Leon Playfair, a writer and investigator with a strong interest in paranormal phenomena. Unlike thrill-seekers, these men spent months living in and monitoring the house, documenting events, recording audio, taking photographs, and interviewing witnesses. Over the course of more than a year, they claimed to observe hundreds of unexplained incidents, including furniture moving without contact, toys flying through the air, and knocking sounds that responded intelligently to questions, a phenomenon known as intelligent haunting. One of the most chilling aspects was the voice that emerged from Janet, which claimed to belong to an elderly man named Bill Wilkins, who said he had died in the house years earlier. Historical records later confirmed that a man by that name had indeed lived and died at the address, a detail that deeply unsettled investigators. Audio recordings captured the voice speaking for hours at a time, straining Janet's vocal cords yet continuing without pause, something doctors found difficult to explain. At the same time, skepticism grew stronger. Some journalists and magicians accused Janet of faking certain events, and at least once, she was caught on camera bending a spoon and throwing objects. This revelation fueled claims that the entire case was a hoax, possibly exaggerated by investigators who wanted proof of the paranormal. However, supporters argued that while some incidents may have been staged by a frightened and confused child seeking control, many others occurred when Janet was restrained, absent, or under observation. By multiple witnesses, including police officers, reporters, and neutral visitors. Psychologists suggested that stress, trauma, and subconscious behavior could explain parts of the case, while admitting that not all events had satisfactory explanations. The haunting took a heavy toll on the Hodgson family. Peggy suffered from exhaustion and anxiety, the children were bullied at school, and their home became a public spectacle. Janet herself later admitted that she faked some events, but insisted that many others were real and beyond her control, a statement that only deepened the mystery rather than resolving it. By 1979, the activity gradually faded, leaving behind a house marked by fear and unanswered questions. No definitive conclusion was ever reached. To this day, experts remain divided. Some label the Enfield Poltergeist as one of the most documented and convincing cases of supernatural activity ever recorded, while others see it as a complex mix of childhood mischief, media exaggeration, psychological distress, and human belief. What makes the Enfield case so powerful is not just the phenomena itself, but the number of witnesses, the length of the investigation, and the emotional realism of the people involved. It forces us to confront uncomfortable questions. Can the human mind create experiences so vivid they feel supernatural? Or are there forces we still do not understand, operating just beyond the limits of science? Decades later, the Enfield Poltergeist continues to influence popular culture, inspiring books, documentaries, and films, and remains a cornerstone in debates about the existence of the paranormal. Ladies and gentlemen, the story of the Enfield Poltergeist is not simply about ghosts or haunted houses, it is about fear, belief, skepticism, and the fragile boundary between the known and the unknown. It reminds us that some mysteries refuse to be neatly explained, and that truth often lies somewhere between certainty and doubt. Thank you for joining me on this chilling journey into one of Britain's most haunting mysteries. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and above all, stay aware, because sometimes, the things we cannot explain are the ones that stay with us the longest.